You don't get to start there. Where you start is wherever you are right now. And I guess that's the problem. The problem is that most of us don't start. Earlier, I referenced this conversation I was having with a college student yesterday. And it started to really frustrate me because it's full of hopes and dreams, which is fantastic. I love that. Love that in young people. And with those hopes and dreams, you have to have the willingness to take action. So that's it. That's all we got. And we have those hopes and dreams. Maybe it starts with a curiosity. Or no, I wonder what this is about. I wonder what this person is talking about. Oh, I see they're talking about marketing in this way, or providing this kind of service, or whatever it is that they're talking about. Start with that curiosity that kicks off the exploration. That's an important part, right? The exploration. Okay, this is where they say they are. This is what they're talking about. This is what they are reporting that they have accomplished or they earn or whatever the context is, whatever the promise is. How did they get there? I think many of us, I see this over and over again, even in business strategy. I guess which is it's part of my job, right? My day job when I'm working with companies on their strategy, specifically on their innovation strategies. But this is where they want to be, right? And, oh, this is it. I see this. This is what we want to do. About 6 months ago, I was sitting in a conference room, sitting between the CFO and the CIO. It became a very uncomfortable seat because the CIO is going, this is where we need to be. And the CFO is going, yeah, this is where we are. And I'm sitting there in the gap, and these two are really disagreeing on the actions that need to be taken, if any. And that's the crux of it all, right? It's if we truly do want to get to there from here, then we have to take the action that's necessary to get there. And the reality is, what is that action? The reality is we need to understand what it takes to get from here to there. And also, if we do think critically about this, we look at some creator or somebody that we look up to, whatever, and we see where they are, and we go and we think critically about that, and we go, okay, how did they get there? We start to study their ways. The reality today is that study is important, and things are changing so quickly that even if we do study their path, the way, their methods, etc., we're not going to get there in the same way that they did. It's just not going to work the same. I think there are important things we can and should learn. What sort of resources did it take? That can change. What kind of what's the term I want? What did it take them to sustain? How long did they have to sustain this effort? Um, what were the base? Maybe not even the skills or efforts. I mean, with all the technology and changing markets and everything that we have today, these things are going to change. But what are the key components? Maybe even the character that was necessary for them to get from here to there. But I mean, even if we said, okay, this is exactly what they did and how they did it, the very core, the first key piece to that is they started. Which, going back to that Ram Dass quote, we have to start where we are, not where we wish we were. I think that's actually pretty close to the quote. Have to start where we are, not where we wish we were. What's real is here and now. That's it. So this is the starting point. You are here. I've always loved the idea of the I'll date myself. You go to the shopping mall or wherever. This got the directory, the map, trying to figure out how to get to J.C. Penney or how to get to the record store or whatever it is. And the first thing you do is you look at that map and you look for the little dot that says this labeled "You are here." This is where you start. That's a great analogy, maybe for this quote. If you're at the shopping mall, what's that bird? Hang on, sorry. I don't get distracted by squirrels. I get distracted by, I guess, that bird right there. Walk at it. Um, let's pretend we're going to the shopping mall and we do want to find the record store. Yeah, the hawks are out. Um, we have to look for that dot that says you are here. Because if we look at that map and we say, "Oh, I'm going to start over by Target," but you're not over by Target, you're not going to find your way, right? You can't. If Target's on the other side of the mall and you say, "Oh, this is the path from Target to the record stores," but you're standing by what else is at the mall? I don't know. What's that pretzel place? Whatever it's called. If you're by the pretzel place, you're trying to get to the record store, but you look at the map and you say, "I'm going to follow this path from Target to the record store," you're not going to make it. Right? It's not the same path. You have to start from the dot that's labeled "You are here." The person thinks that honking at a cat crossing the street is helpful. Um, that's the only way it works, right? But I think the more important part of this discussion, I think the more important part of this topic that I've chosen for today is the start part. How many people do we know? Are we those people? Are we the ones that aren't starting. That, going back to this conversation yesterday, the reason it frustrated me so much was this person was talking about, oh, I want to do this, I want to do this, this over and over. And this is what I want. And with every question I asked, basically around starting, what are you doing? What have you started? Where's the curiosity? Where's the exploration that leads to the action? Because the action is necessary. Nicole knows that I've fluctuated. I've been coming up with these steps to growth. What does it take to grow? I think it starts with curiosity. And with that curiosity comes exploration. And we explore to the point that we start to believe that some of these things that we are finding, that we're exploring, that we're seeing, that if we actually do them, they'll help us to grow. So we have this belief. The belief becomes strong enough that we decide that we're going to do something about it. Let's stay in the sun as much as possible. And then that decision leads to taking action. And the truth of the matter is, if we don't ever take action, then we're not going to get to growth. But once we take action, we have to keep taking that action until it becomes part of our regular motion, and keep that motion up until it develops momentum. That momentum drives change, and then that change leads to growth. That's how we grow in however many steps that was. I'm sure I left something out, Nicole. Um, I need to document these things. And there are things that keep us from going from curiosity to action. And there are things that keep us from keeping the action going, until the point that it generates momentum and leads to change and to growth. As I've researched that idea, I found people talking about the messy middle. It's the obstacles, it's the friction, it's uh, it's the challenges that keep us from starting or keeping going. But none of it matters, right? There's nothing if we don't start. There's nothing if we don't take action. And I like this Ram Dass quote for a number of reasons. And we have to start from where we are, not where we wish we were. Um, 'Cause I think there's so much temptation, and I don't know. I'm leaning too hard on the media, social media aspect of it. Maybe I'm giving it too much credence in this topic, but I think there's so much temptation for us to look at, oh, I wish I this, and that leading to among a lot of things, that leading to paralysis by analysis. Oh, I wish I was there. Okay, well, guess what? To get there, you got to start here. You are here. Look at the map. You are here. Now what? That's all we got. That and a legitimate wind chill today. Nicole, I looked at the temperature before I left. 31 degrees, 50 degrees. My Sunday. But a real feel of 41. I'm hoping that when I walk back, it feels like 40. Anyway, thanks for walking with me. guess the question is, have you found the you are here dot on the map? Because that's where we need to start. All right. I'm gonna go get coffee. Espresso time. See you tomorrow. Thanks.